Hey, welcome back to episode 190 of the God and Guns podcast. I'm your host, Troy.
I'm your other host, Doug.
We use this podcast to talk about God, guns, and responsible Christian gun owners' interest. On this show, we'll be talking with the founder of Firearms Radio Network and president of Patriot Patch Company, Jake Challand.
Jake, welcome.
Welcome, Jake.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
It's an honor. We haven't had you on ever, maybe. It seems like it's been a long time.
No, I was last on one. I think it was one of Mike's last episodes. I was on years ago.
I remember you were on with Mike, but I don't think you've been on since I've been on here. I guess I've just been a hog. But glad you were so busy. You were running like 3 or 4 different shows there at one time. So, but we're glad to have you on tonight. We want to thank the Firearms Radio Network for our bandwidth. And we appreciate all that they do. We used to always say, hey, and thanks, Jake, on our.
We did.
You were the man behind the machine at the time. And we just want to continue to support the other shows over there on Firearms Radio Network. And as we say, some of them are a little bit colorful. So just, just be warned, since most of our listeners are believers.
Oh, there's only one color for show.
Oh, one colorful. Well, it stands on its own then, but they do a great job with drawing them in, so that's good. Also want to thank
Crossbreed Holsters. If you're carrying a gun on your person, in a vehicle, or in a pocketbook, you should be carrying a Crossbreed holster. Check them out, crossbreedholsters.com. Carry the cross.
Carry the cross. This week's God and Gun activities, Doug, what have you been up to?
Let's see. God's side, been doing my daily devotional, Sportsman's Daily Devotional, and Words from Jesus for Men. On the gun side, of course, been doing my everyday carry. Saturday was opening day of bow season in Georgia, and I got to go out and death from above, man. It's the first deer I've actually killed on opening day in several years, and I've been sitting in a tree stand all of about, I don't know, 40 minutes. And I had a deer come walking out, and I was telling Troy a minute ago, he was still in velvet. He only had just a little bit of the tips of his antlers that were skint back. And one of them had a piece of the velvet hanging down. I thought he had a drop tine. And I was like, oh, I don't care how big he is. That's my first drop tine buck. I'm going to shoot him. So I didn't pay no attention to it after that. And took a couple minutes. He got out about 21 yards out in front of me, stepped in the shooting lane, and that was a mistake. I put one through him, and he run about 50 yards, and down he went. And I was telling Troy, I was trying to text my buddies on my phone to let them know that I had one down, and I was calm, cool, collected the whole time he came in. I'm watching him. I ain't breathing hard. I took the shot. Everything was fine. I picked up that phone and went to start typing, and my hands was just shaking. I was like, well, as long as I get that feeling every time, it don't matter if it's a buck or doe, whatever, that excitement never leaves. I guess if it leaves me and I don't get that feeling no more, it's time to hang it up. But right now, I still get it. So it was fun. So I had my buddies help me drag that joker, that big behemoth. Now, he ain't no Kentucky deer or Illinois deer by no means, but for Georgia, he was well over 200 pounds. So not a bad deer. He makes some nice hamburger.
Cool. Awesome.
Let's see. What else did I do? Shot my buck. Cleaned a few guns this week. Got a couple out of the safe and cleaned them. And I went down and made another payment on my first Henry ever. I got a golden big boy 44 on layaway, so I can't wait to go get it. It's killing me.
Something about those 44s and 45-70 lever actions, they're just so much fun,
Oh, they are.
Everybody wants one.
They are. When I was up there shooting with Plinkster that day, he let me shoot that 1860 original in the 4440.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that thing was like butter, man. It was so smooth. Shot it the first time. I'm like, man, did it even go off? You couldn't even feel it. Like shooting a Red Ryder BB gun or something.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I'm going to get it. I'll have it here pretty soon. I'll have it on the show showing it off, I'm sure. Kind of like my Kel-Tec when I got it.
Cool. that all yours?
That was it for me, man. It was a slow week. Because we had the hurricane blow through this week, so it started about, I don't know, Sunday evening. It started, and Monday we pretty much had 50-mile-an-hour winds sustained all day, gusting up to about 70. And I think they said they had, right here in the middle of Georgia area where I'm at, they had almost 500,000 people out of power.
Wow.
So, knock on wood, man, I was lucky. My power didn't go off, and I was good to go. But a lot of people weren't so fortunate.
So that's like a regular January day in Northern Illinois. I mean,
is it?
You don't have any obstacles up there. It's all just flat. Right?
It's just flat.
Yeah.
Nothing to slow it down.
Cool deal. Jake, what'd you been up to this week?
Oh, been trying to get prepped to run some t-shirts here and get things going. Up till now, I've been partnering with a local company, but I've just been having so much volume come in. I have to start doing it myself now. So
cool.
Working on getting that going, and let's see here. So God, just reading daily Bible reading via the Bible Gateway website. I don't know if you guys have talked about it, but they have some pretty cool subscription options where you can subscribe with your email, then you can choose your reading plan. You can choose to read the Bible in a year, or read just the New Testament in a year, or you can there's I think there's at least a dozen different variations you can choose. So it'll shoot you a link in your email every morning. So when you wake up, it'll be right there in your inbox, and you can click on it. And for me, that works best. That way I stay consistent.
Right.
It's right there. It's my first part of my to-do list for the day. I can take care of it right away.
Cool.
And then we're moving in, or I guess they are moved in. Our church built a new building. We had been operating out of a old farm store for like the last since like 2003. We haven't gone there that long, but for quite a while they were operating out of this old converted farm store, and they finally built an actual church building.
Cool.
So this Sunday is the first services in that new building, so that should be pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, we were off campus when we redid our church for about a year, and we were meeting at a school, and it was awful because it was tear down every week and put back up, and it was just a mess. But,
yeah. So yeah, nothing guns, not really. I'm just too busy, unless gun t-shirts count.
They do.
Cool ones do. The non-cool ones do. All right, so my stuff this week, I did, of course, first Sunday, so I did church security, and then Wednesday night, had church security. Working on a new security plan. I got some really good resources from Sheepdog Church security guys. They had some pretty good resources that I've been working with to do a training program for all of our security team. So we're on probably launch that around the first week of October, that training. So been working on that in between all this other stuff. Daily reading the ESV study Bible using the Bible app. It does like Jake was saying, it'll send you a morning reminder email. And then I use the app, so it pops up and says, hey, you need to read. And then I started a new devotional this week called C.S. Lewis and the Call to Create, the Bible app. It's pretty good. It's a little short one. It's like a 4-day devotional, and probably have it finished up by Sunday. On the book side, I just finished reading The Western Star by Craig Johnson. It's not a Christian book by any means. It's just a fun book. I like the Craig Johnson Longmire type books. I don't know if you guys have gotten into those or not, but I really enjoy those. And the new one came out, and I read it in like 3 days, and now you gotta wait like another year for the next one to come out. That's the trouble. He doesn't release them very often. And just finished The Nefarious Plot by Steve Deise, or Deese. I guess it's Steve Deese. It's sort of American, modern Americanized version of C.S. Lewis's Screw Tape Letters, where the demon is writing letters and back and forth. The Screw Tape Letters, the demon's writing letters back and forth to his uncle, who's teaching him how to trick man. This one is more of the demon talking directly to the American Christian and name only kind of people, and telling how he's duped them. And it's really it's a really throat punch to you if you and when you read it, because I mean he hits you right between the eyes and chokes you with the wisdom. It really brings to life the spiritual battle we're in here in America, around the world, but I mean specifically this is sort of specific to Americans. And it's not an easy book. I mean, it's one of those books that you want to put down and you don't want to read anymore. And I muddled through it and got through it. Just have to keep, we know the end plan, so we know what's going to happen in the end. So it's not that for boating, it's just a matter of it really rips off the false fascia of Christians in America's thought of themselves, I guess you should say. On the gun side, I've been talking with Robert over at RTG Parts. He sells all kinds of Heckler & Koch parts. And I've been looking at swapping out that 8.5-inch barrel and puff to a 12.7-inch barrel. And he was telling me which parts I needed to switch out with it. And he said, it's above my skill set. He said, you need to get an HK gunsmith to do it. So I'm probably gonna have to table that until I get some more funds put away for that.
What you gonna put a bigger barrel in for?
Well, I want a little bit more speed out of it, and I want to put a suppressor on it. And I mean, every suppressor company except for Atlas is saying they want 12-inch plus barrel on that 308. They just don't like throwing that much powder in the can. It can cause problems with the cans and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe I just go with 8.5 and just get Atlas Defense suppressor.
I can say
let Charlie warranty it.
There's a challenge for Charlie and Joe, man.
Yeah, I have to have Charlie say, okay, you gonna warranty this if this thing melts down on me or blows up. But I don't know. I just don't feel like I'm getting the full use of that round in the 8.5-inch barrel. It seems like a lot of wasted powder, and so.
So real quick, back to H&K. Don't want to derail us too much, but did you see the news about how they're no longer selling anything to Israel?
No, I did not see that.
Yeah, they announced they're no longer selling to most of the Middle Eastern countries, but Israel is in there on that list, which.
Yeah. Well, Israel makes their own guns now anyway, pretty much. They've been making their own guns for quite some time, but no, I understand. I don't know, man. It doesn't make any sense. I'm sure it's probably got something to do with the UN and Angela Merkel or something. There's enough HK91s out there and 93s and 94s and MP5s. And if Israel wanted guns, they could get them.
Yeah. And
they've already got them pretty much. Yeah, so that was on the puff. Puff, for you guys that aren't familiar, puff is my PTR PDW. It's a pistol 308 7.6251. It's an HK91 with an 8.5-inch barrel, pretty much, and a pistol grip. So that's
and fun it is.
My fun gun. Then working on the reloading room, setting up a Mech 12 gauge reloader. Mike Island sent me over from Reloading Podcast. He sent me. Oh gosh, it's been a couple 2-3 years ago. Finally got time to put it up, so got it mounted yesterday, and now I'm learning all the loading information on 12 gauge shells.
I'm just like you. I got a 12 gauge loader probably about 3-4 years ago now. It's still sitting in the box.
Yeah, mine was in my closet, and I was like, "What's this doing up here?" Because when we moved in, I just brought everything in really quick, and put it everywhere I could find a spot. I was like, "What's this doing here?" So I brought it down a couple weeks ago and set it on the bench, and then I thought, I need to mount that thing before it falls on the floor and breaks. So was working on that. Been condensing my ammo down. I just, whenever I was buying ammo, I was just buying ammo in boxes and just putting the ammo boxes all together in the cans, and I kept buying cans. And now I'm like, I don't have much storage room, and so I started breaking down all the boxes and dumping them loose into the cans and throwing some discount packs, so I can free up some cans. And I'm getting ready to start cranking out as winter approaches. I'm gonna start cranking out some ammo. So I'm trying to free up as many cans as I could, so I wouldn't have to buy any more. And worked on that. Oh, I've got that app. I don't know if you followed Ron uses that Scout Look app, Doug.
Mm-hmm.
You used that any or not?
Mm-hmm.
But I started using that, and I found a place for my 1,000-yard range here on the farm.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because you can pull it up, and it's a satellite image, and so you
Right.
can pick out, this spot to this spot, how many yards is that? This spot to this spot, how many yards is that?
Oh, yeah. What's that called?
It's called the Scout Look app.
Scout Look. I got to write this down.
Yeah, it knows the temperature, the way the wind's moving. It can tell you when's the best time to go hunting during the day or during the week, and it looks at the weather forecast. It's a really cool app. But you can pull up like a Google map of your farm or wherever your land is. And so I found a good place to put in the pistol range. I'm going to move the pistol range over into an old dried out pond that had a sinkhole fall into it. So I already got to like 12-foot berms all the way around this dried out pond. So I'm going to go in with the dozer, level it out, seed it, and then I'm going to put up my steel plates, and I can have like a shoot house in that old pond because it stays dry all the time now. So that'll work for me for pistol range. And it's 100 yards. That pond's 130 yards. So I can shoot 100 yards inside that range, inside that old dried pond. And then I found this other, I kept going around all over the farm trying to find where I could shoot 1,000 yards at, because our farm from one end to the other is like 1.7 miles. On the long end is like, I don't know, about 75 hundredths of a mile on the narrow side. And it's but I kept looking to see, all right, what's beyond this, because you can zoom out, you can see like, okay, there's a farm here, I can't shoot that way, and then there's road here, so I can't shoot that way. And so I kept laying out different angles till I found where I'm shooting down into a valley and into a high rise back in behind it, and it's pretty much at the top of the hill beyond my mailbox. So I'm just gonna sit my bench up there, and I'm not gonna be shooting 1,000 yards every day. It's just one of those once a month kind of things where you're gonna go out there and shoot. And I've got a bunch of railroad ties, and I'm gonna make a wall and just put on my trailer and just roll it out there, set it up whenever I'm doing that, so I have a good backstop. And then I've still got like probably 30 yards above it backstop, and then there's nothing for like 2 miles straight behind it in a 15-degree radius. So the app was great. I could just sit there and lay out the lines where I wanted to set. Can I set it here? Can I set it there? And I could just project on out to make sure there wasn't anything that could be hurt. If I had a ricochet or anything like that. And so I've got it set down in stone now. So get to work on that. So that's what I worked on this week. Of course, we had floors ripped up. We're living in our living room. We got our bedrooms in our dining room right now. The chimney, it's rained here all week, so the chimney repairs that the guy was supposed to come like 2 weeks ago showed up this morning in the rain, and our house is just a big mess right now. Hopefully, one of these days soon we'll be done working on it. But that's the way it is every time you move. You always find all these problems you got to face. All right, so our EDC check. What you got? What are you wearing today, Jake?
So I'm wearing the usual Springfield XDS 45. Got the little longer 4-inch model.
Yeah.
You know what? I've tried a lot of different holsters, and I've just really like just a plain Kydex, all Kydex holster with a clip.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got a Kershaw knife, and then I forget what model it is. And I just actually had a listener send me a pretty cool knife too. I don't have it. It's up on my dresser, but so that was pretty cool.
Cool.
But yeah, other than that, carry a spare mag. I carry self-defense ammo. I can't think of the brand right offhand. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Usually I love the XDSs. I really do. I'm mad at what they did, what Springfield did, but I love the XDSs. I still got my XDS.
Oh yeah, I'm really mad too, but it's it's what I got right now. So
yeah,
I've looked at the Smith and Wessons, like the shields. That's something I may move to sometime, but for now this is what I have. I mean anymore since I work for myself. There's usually an AR-15 within reach too. Right. So
yeah, I got one right. I can't see my microphone. Yeah, there's always one within the same room I'm in usually.
I got two right behind me, along with a Kel-Tec Sub 2000. So,
but are they loaded?
They absolutely. Ain't no fun if it ain't loaded.
That's right. What you got, Doug?
Got my Glock 19, and I've been carrying it in my Super Tuck, but during work, I carry it in this little Fobus paddle holster. Which
really,
I do. It's easy to go on the belt. You tuck it in, you go, and get to work. You just pull it off real quick, set it in the glove box, and off you go. Why do I carry a Fobus paddle holster? Because Crossbreed don't sell one yet.
Hint.
Come on now.
Well, and that's really why I like my Kydex with a clip, because the same concept. You can just clip it off, leave it in the holster, and stick it in the glove box or in the safe or wherever.
Yeah, if I'm going to be carrying, all day and like weekends or whatever, or when I get home in the evening, usually, I flip mine out and put it in the Crossbreed, carry it inside the waistband, because I know I'm not going to take it off till I go to bed. But just in and out of the truck going to work and stuff, it's not practical.
I don't go anywhere I can't carry a gun except for the courthouse. And in the courthouse, I just take the gun and put it in the console and leave the holster on. I just walk in with an empty holster, making my statement. and then I go, I try not to go to the courthouse unless I have to, for taxes or licenses and stuff like that. But outside of that, I pretty much don't go anywhere I can't carry. Or in Kentucky, they can have a sign up on the door as long as it's not a government building, but private businesses, they can have a sign up on the door. It's not against the law. It's just, you're asked to leave. So you don't get, criminal charge. The Democrats tried to amend the law to make it a criminal charge if you went into private property with hat sign on. But if I want to go in there, I'll just wear the gun, and if I don't, most of the time I just don't want to give them any of my money anyway. So
Georgia passed a law last year. I think it was last year, that any courthouse or government building, as long as they don't have a metal detector, you can carry your gun.
Yeah, because like Lure County, there's no metal detectors. You just walk through the whole place and there's nobody to check you. You go to Berrien County and they got metal detectors. They got 4 or 5 deputies that sit in the courthouse doorway all day long, having people empty their pockets and all that stuff. So Lure County is like, it's an honor system. You ain't supposed to bring in here, but we're not gonna run you through a metal detector. We're gonna pay 4 or 5 deputies to sit around and drink coffee and shake people down every day. So that's one good thing about moving back to Lure County.
There you go.
All right. So Comedy Corner, I found this. I thought this might be pretty good. There's a whole bunch of them here. There was like 5 pages of this stuff. I just cut out a section of it, so we've got some jokes for a long time to go. We feel like gold mine.
These were pretty good. I was reading them earlier.
So I'll take the first one. We'll just roll through these. Y'all can just take your turns if you want to, Jake. You might be a gun nut if your local gunsmith calls you for obsolete parts. I've had that happen.
That is you. This is probably you too.
Yeah.
If you homeschool and use ballistic tables for math lessons.
That's good.
Gunner has had to learn that.
That's going to be us someday, yeah. If your gun safe is bigger than your refrigerator.
Here.
I'm not there yet.
If you call Brownells and they recognize your voice.
Wait. What if you use a refrigerator for your gun safe?
Yeah, that might work. Except there's too much moisture in the refrigerator.
If
they're not plugged up. I guess you could plug it up. Because it'd take the moisture.
I've seen images online where people have converted fridges to gun safes. I don't know what they've done to them, but yeah, I don't know. It'd be a good camouflage, if someone breaks in, they're probably not going to look in your fridge.
Yeah, who wants to steal a refrigerator?
Right.
They might get hungry though while they're in there, Hey, look what I found. All right, Doug, you're up next.
If you own reloading dies for calibers you do not shoot.
Here.
Yeah, that's me. If you understand Smith & Wesson's model numbers, there'd be Ryan Machad of Handgun Radio.
Someone said he needs to rename that revolver radio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's a revolver guy. If you ever bought two different brands of the same bullet just to see which one shot better.
Yeah.
You got to do that, man. I usually will buy, when I get a new pistol or something, I'll go buy like every different kind of brand I can to see which one shoots best in it, feeds best in it, holds the best group. So that's a no-brainer.
Hey, this is me big time right here. If watching The Lion King gives you the itch for a 470 nitro, yeah, baby.
If you cut out your best groups and carry them in your wallet like family photos. If you have like a whole like scrapbooking set of all your groups.
I take pictures of them. This is supposed to be old jokes because nowadays you just take a picture of it and you post it on Instagram. But I remember taking my wife's target from her concealed carry class to work. Showing the guys because she had a quarter-size group at 21 feet in the rain. I was like, "That's my woman right there."
Hey, look at her go.
If you've ever gone to a gun show 3 times in 1 month and we're excited every time.
Yeah. Oh man, gun shows are terrible. No,
they are now. Back in the day, they weren't that bad. I think these jokes are probably 15 years ago or something. Nowadays, it's just like flea markets with overpriced guns.
Right. Or old junk that nobody wants.
Overpriced old junk.
Yeah. If you feel that a golf course is a willful, deliberate misuse of a perfectly good rifle range, like Rock Castle.
I put like Rock Castle because Rock Castle was a golf course. And it still is a golf course, but I mean, it was primarily a golf course. I used to go play golf there because it's like 3 miles from where I used to work. And I was like, man, this make a great rifle range. And it wasn't long that Nate and Nick bought, and his dad bought that land and converted it into a gun range.
If your brass tumbler used to be a cement mixer.
That's Jerry Michalik, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
He's got one. It's a concrete. He uses a concrete mixer. And if you identify the gun on the cover of Dylan's Blue Press before you notice the girl, my daughters, when that Dylan Blue Press comes in, they'll grab it and they'll rip the front page off. You don't need to see that. I'm like, she got clothes on. I'm like, okay, it's fine. You don't need to see that. I'm like, okay. And then go 10 pages in, you'll find her in there again. Rip that out. So they're my filter. They rip off the front covers of the Dylan Blue Press for me.
There you go.
All right, so we just had one listener feedback this week. He says, "Hello, long time listener. Keep up the good work. My NRA subscription is about up for the year. How do I use your code to get y'all the money? A little bit of love, as we say." From Bobby, and thanks, Bobby. I sent you an email with that link in there, and then you can find that on our webpage when it's up, and it'll be in our show notes as well. But yeah, Doug, we got to do something with that webpage. I think it's getting to be a problem.
I know.
All right, so
it's going to have to be completely rechanged.
I know we want to hire somebody because I'm retired. I ain't got time for that kind of stuff. Actually, I think I'm just getting too old to keep up with it. It is like everything keeps changing. Like every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's like they change the program. They require some kind of new encoding program, or they require some kind. And since Jake's no longer telling me how to do things, I don't know what to do.
You need to get Squarespace. Stop using WordPress.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we need to figure out how to do that. I don't even know how to do that. Doug, you know how to do that?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do that. We'll move on. All right, our weekly Bible verse this week is coming from Colossians 3, verses 23 through 25. And whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. You are serving the Lord Christ, for the wrongdoer will be paid back for the wrong he has done, and there is no partiality. So, we're to work as the redeemed. What does that mean? Well, just as the Bible verses are saying here, we're supposed to do as the best work we can, and with the best attitude we can, and do it as if we're working straight for God, because we are that image. We're that image bearer. As God said he made us in his image. Well, if the redeemed are believers who follow Christ, who believe in Jesus as his son, came and became that sacrifice that we may not have to have that eternal death and not be judged. But those of us who have been redeemed by Jesus, we're to work as if we're working for Jesus, as if we're working for God to please him, because we are that image in this dark and fallen world of Christ. And if we don't represent that in the best fashion, if we're going around making excuses why we can't do stuff and showing up to work late and not doing our jobs, not completing our jobs and laying it off on someone else, what image are we bearing of Christ? We're not bearing the image that God would call us to. In his own word here, he's saying, man up, go do your job, do it hard and get it done and be happy about it. And don't worry about what somebody else is getting. Don't be envious of what somebody else has. Don't be worrying about that somebody else is getting something over on the system or someone's cheating you at work. And I can say I have to confess guilt there, because I had multitudes of problems when I was working of dealing with people who were getting one over on me, and I was taking that personally, and I wasn't giving it to God. But when I turned around and started giving that to God, like he's calling us here in verse 25, he's talking, for the wrongdoer will be paid back for the wrong he has done. We don't worry about God's judgment. God will judge those people and reward those people for their work, and he will reward us for our work. So we don't, one of the hardest things is to teach your children is about fairness. Well, the older one gets to stay up later because, well, she's 18, and the 11-year-old's like, I want to stay up late. Well, you're not 18. You haven't got your homework done. You need more sleep. You have more things that you need to get done. And when she was 11 years old, she didn't get to stay up late. But, there's all of these things. Well, grown men in the workplace, well, why do they get to do that? Why do I get to do that? Well, because that's their job, not your job. That's their responsibility, not your responsibility. You got to put things in their proper perspective. You can see it in children, but sometimes we don't see it as adults, that we're called to be the image bearer in our daily walk, in our business dealings, in the way we talk to people, in the way we text with people, in the way we react to how people treat us, giving that grace that we've been given, showing that love that we've been given to be able to show. If we don't show that, and we show yet what the world would show, that we try to get back, we try to undermine, we try to belittle, we blame other people, and we are not bearing that proper image, that image that would show God in his true compassion and glory, then we're not being good witnesses. We're being false witnesses for Christ, and we're not being obedient to the word, and we're not being obedient to Christ. So great Bible verses this week, Colossians 3:23 through 25. Guys, you have any comments?
Yeah, send that over to the people at the DMV.
They serve a different God.
Yeah.
True. They serve a God of government. All right, so that was our Bible verses. Our main topic, well, we've had him on here since the beginning, but Jake is here with us tonight, the founder of Firearms Radio Network and, of course, Patriot Patch Company. And as many of you guys know, that he has stepped down from the full-time Marines of Firearms Radio Network. He's still all the time plugged into things over there. Tell us what's going on, Jake. Fill us in where you at right now in these days.
I'm trying to unplug as much as possible. I'm flipping all the switches off. Yeah, I mean, started FRN about 5 years ago, and it's really grown into something far beyond our imagination. But I'm just it's time to transition into another stage of life. And I killed myself early on there, just working, because I was working my day job, and between FRN and everything else, I was doing 100+ hour weeks, and we were in the midst of having a bunch of babies at home, and I just killed myself, and kind of got really burned out, and been kind of running on empty for a while. So I've passed the reins on to you guys and other guys at the network to continue carrying the torch and doing the great work you guys are doing. And I'm focusing more on Patriot Patch Company and more on other things I got going on.
Cool. So what was the catalyst that caused you to start Firearms Radio Network? What was that thing that said, hey, I need to do this?
Well, so a buddy of mine and I, we really started to get into shooting a lot as a hobby. We were always gun enthusiasts, but some of you may remember Zach Carlson. He works over at Lone Wolf Distributors now, but back then we were just a couple of guys that started Gun Guy Radio, and we started that show just to talk about our hobby, and we were both at that time, we were both kind of like, we're not really thrilled about what we do for a day job. He was working at a local warehouse, I was working at the post office. We weren't really thrilled about that, so it kind of in the back of our minds, we thought, well, maybe this can open us up to doing something in the firearms industry eventually, So we started doing that, and it kind of took off, and people started, saying, why don't you do shows about AR-15s, or why don't you do shows about gun news? And so we started, AR-15 podcast. Shortly after that, we started This Week in Guns, and we thought, well, probably be good to have like an umbrella to put everything under. So that's how the Firearms Radio Network came about. And God and Guns came along not too long after that. My buddy Mike. Yeah, well, even before Zach, Mike and I recorded the pilot for that. And that took off. And I guess you guys know the rest of the story, but
Yeah, I'm always interested to see how people got into this industry, whether it's a YouTuber or whether it's a podcaster. It's always funny. It seems like, someone just stepped out on a limb and all of a sudden they became a leader in that direction. And then like people just comes along and support you. It's just weird. It's weird when you make a decision to do something.
Well,
things sort of come in and work that way. Go ahead.
Well, at the same time, I was reading a lot of books on positive thinking, a lot of books on leadership, a lot of books on business, So it kind of all, came to a point where everything fell into place. And like I had, from years of, working on the mail route, I had just gained so much knowledge listening to all those types of audiobooks and podcasts and everything that I kind of feel like I got a college degree of some kind. and so I think that knowledge propelled me to be able to do the Firearms Radio Network. And because I remember sitting down trying to do the first episode of Gun Guy Radio, and it was just so nerve-wracking because I'm really just a huge introvert at when it comes down to it.
Over here too. Doug's not. Doug's extrovert.
Yeah. Some days.
But it's it's pretty cool what I don't know, God has in store for you when you're not really even thinking about it at the time. It kind of blows up and you're like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
When you send somebody to sit down with you in a restaurant and tell you, hey, you got to come on this show I'm on. Okay.
Almost 4 years later.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little bit, I was 1st of September or something whenever I took over full-time reins for Mike. You talking about scared cat, boy, I tell you. I did not know any, I still don't know much, but I didn't know anything back then. And if it hadn't been for those tutorial videos you did, then I bet I watched at least once or twice a week for the first 6 months I did that. I couldn't remember. I had to go back, watch that video again. And I would sit there and watch a video. Okay, do this and do that, do this and do that. For you guys that don't know, I mean, Jake set us up to succeed. He did all these videos saying, use this program, and then you do this, and I mean, he made it idiot proof. And he did these videos, so he didn't have to, you didn't have to take phone calls from us. Say, hey, how you do that again? He said, use these videos, and then you could just go there and look whenever you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
And that was a genius. I mean, that was genius. And it saved my butt. I don't know how many times I had to go back and redo it over and over. And then I get a text, Troy, you need to go back and redo that show. Quality is awful. That's not up to our standards. Sorry, Jake. But no, it's amazing how things moved so quickly and how time goes by so fast in this, 109 episodes. We, Doug and I are both busy people, even though I'm retired, so semi-retired. And like Jake was saying, it's hard to get content together. It's hard to meet each other's schedules. That seems like to be the hardest thing with getting any shows together, especially the live shows like this.
Mm-hmm.
Getting everyone's calendars to line up together and getting good content, all that working together to be a good show. That's what burns most of your brain time, trying to get those things put into place. And then once everything's there, it's boom, it works. But that week out, 2 weeks out, trying to get people, hey, can you come in? Can you come in? I need you here, and I can't do that. And so that constant scheduling changing and people dropping out at the last minute kind of stuff just burns you up.
So-and-so can't be on tonight. What are we going to talk about? I don't know.
Well, and there was a period of time when I was doing a lot of interviews on Gun Guy Radio with big names in the industry. I've had like Arlie Ermy on, Pete Brownell, bunch of different recognizable people from the industry, and it's two things. It's amazing how many of those people say yes and actually come on your show. But then you also have people that say yes and then they're a no-show, and you can't really talk about how they're a no-show. There's a few big names like that that it's like they just flaked out, and you're like, well, how do you run a corporation and
I know what you mean.
Be like that? And so that's pretty interesting. But yeah, scheduling, it's a nightmare.
It is. It's terrible. And so for a lot of listeners, I'm sorry. Sometimes we just can't get someone to show up, and then we don't have any content. And we're like, we don't want to come on here and look cruddy and just, have a conversation every weekend or every week. So we want to try to bring a good value to it. You want to try to bring something that is worthy of your time, not just a conversation. So we're trying to get people on. It's not like we're not trying to get people to show up. It's just that they'll just all of a sudden, oh, I can't make it. Oh, well, I got something tonight. I'm like, dude, we've had this scheduled for 3, 4, 5 weeks, and I've sent you reminders, and just call me back another time. Or they say, you call me, you remind me. I'm like, I'm not your secretary, man. You got a smartphone, put in the
right,
put in your calendar and do it. We're grown people here. But that's the dark side of the industry. But so yeah, you've dealt with that struggle to come up with content. I've known that I know that feeling whenever you send out that, hey, I need some help tonight on the show. I try to come off I can, because I know how it is when you don't have anybody or somebody drops out and you're like, oh, I need people come on and bring some value. And so I was always trying to be there. And whenever you send out that invite, but because I know how that goes. And then monetizing this thing has just been, be able to pay your expenses on the especially on the podcast side. They don't understand the value of it. They don't understand the size of the market. You can't get them to see it for some reason. And you talk to them, well, how many downloads you get? And I'm like, well, it's forever. This thing's going to be up there as long as we have somebody paying to host it, for it to stay up there. This is going to be out there. Your advertising isn't going to be, wadded up and thrown in the trash or used for a bird cage liner. After a while, it's going to be out there in the internet, interwebs or whatever they call it, and going to be available. It's going to, people are going to listen to it at different times. I can't tell you, how many times they'll get listened to, but it's a hard thing to get, that print industry dependent kind of mentality moved over. And you've talked about that. We've talked about it since the beginning of podcasting. Even this YouTube. I mean, we could have banners, we can have other things, but people, they buy things based upon their relationship or their value and trust in you, and and how if you use the product and you recommend the product, and
they just don't. The firearms industry at large just doesn't get it, because they really like the magazine ads because they're easy. They're really expensive, but they're really easy for those marketing people just to sign up for a magazine ad. But you're right. Podcast listeners are super loyal, and they're super
knowledgeable.
Yeah, I mean, everything, they're hanging on to every word you say.
Yeah, so, maybe every word you say.
I mean, literally, because you're in their ears with earbuds. It's not like a magazine article where you're skimming it over. It's not like a TV show that you have on in the background that you're surfing your phone instead. I mean, you're listening to a podcast because you're at work. You're trying to get through the day, and you're paying more attention to the podcast than what you're doing at your job sometimes. But I mean, because it's so intimate, and so people really take to heart, Troy and Doug, what you guys recommend, what you guys talk about, and it's unfortunate companies don't see that, because when Doug talks about his Celtic, I mean, people are like, I've been thinking about picking one of those up, and it comes with a lot more leverage, I think. But unfortunately, I mean, that's one of the reasons I kind of got burned out on the network, is because it just, you can talk to these guys till you're blue in the face and they just don't get it.
Yeah. Or they'll start their own podcast and it's pretty much an info commercial.
Right.
And they're talking about their product in and out, and then there's no relationship there. I mean, we try to develop a community here of like-minded thinkers and how we use those products in our daily life. And we're not broadcasting a commercial, right? We're telling you, this is what we use it for. This is how we use it. This is what works for us. What doesn't work for you. You were telling us about your taco type holster. That's what you prefer, and so that has value to people because you actually use that, right? And so they know that you do this every day. They know that Doug and I carry crossbreeds all the time, and I've carried crossbreeds before they ever came on and started helping our show. And so, they know that, I'm not just, broadcasting commercial. Like Patriot Patch, I show people on Instagram, or I'll be on here and I'll say, hey, look at this cool patch a Patriot Patch gave, sent out in this monthly thing. Because it's cool, I like it, and so I'll talk about stuff that people don't even sponsor. So like I'll pick up a CERT pistol, say CERT pistols are great trainers, and it's not because I'm trying to get monetized. Because I'm trying to share value to our listeners that this thing works for me, this thing doesn't work for me, and if people want to sponsor us, that's great. Patreon's been a great thing. I kept putting off, and wouldn't do it because I felt this is ministry, and people are like, well, I want to send you money, how can I send you money? I'm like, well, I just that part of me that I've been carrying the expenses of the different things that we do and the things we buy and the things we try and stuff like that, and then like, okay, well, set up a Patreon account. I don't think anybody says anything, and then boom, people just like overwhelm me. I'm like, wow, you guys are great.
No, that's awesome, and there's nothing wrong with having a profitable business that is also a ministry.
Right.
Yeah, the patrons are awesome. I'm really glad to hear that you guys have a Patreon now, and everyone listening needs to go over to what are you guys on Patreon?
You'd have to ask me while I'm sitting there.
Patreon.com/God&Guns.
This is where you plug it. Come on.
God and Guns.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, boss. I screwed it up. Where did it go? I got it right. Oh, here, it's right here in front of me. It's right there below the note. Patreon.com/God&Guns God and Guns. This is what it is. God and Guns. But yeah, we plug it each week. Just because we got people say, hey, we want to help you out. We like the show, and so we appreciate that.
So what? Sorry to interrupt. What you were saying, Troy. One reason why podcasts are so effective for marketing is because they're, for the most part, they're really authentic. Like you were saying, we talk about stuff we like, we talk about real life, especially this show. And, you really don't get that anywhere else, especially those magazines that, all these gun companies are throwing money at. I mean, Nothing about those magazines are authentic. No. Nothing. It's just a pitch. The whole thing is just a pitch.
Yeah, I get magazines now, and I'll spend less than a minute, and I'll flip through and see if there's anything I hadn't seen before. Yep. And in the trash bin it goes. Or I'll say, "Can you look at this?" And you're like, Meh.
I don't even open them. They go straight in the recycle.
You'd be flipping
like,
it's all old news. It's all old news, anyways. All the products are old. All the articles are old.
All the writers are writing old writers have been writing about the 1911 for 100 years now. I mean,
they're like,
Kimber, a great gun, but
they're like, hey, Paul, Kimber just cut a check. Can you write an article?
Sure. One thing about podcasting too that's kind of fun, like you were talking about, you get kind of up close and personal with the people that listen to the show and stuff. Because I know Troy and I get emails and stuff from folks all the time. I told a story about a snake that that me and my brother was hunting one time, and I told that story on the show, and for weeks people was sending me snake jokes and snake pictures, and it's like, hey, they're listening, and when I was trying to get that Kel-Tec we were talking about a while ago, I was looking everywhere trying to find one at a decent price, and people were shooting me emails like, hey man, my store up the road's got it, check them out. I go buy the thing and it'd be sold out. I'm like, can't get it. But I can't tell you how many people sent me emails and links, to go find a Kel-Tec Sub 2000.
Yeah, and just the amount there's just a group of people that have sort of come along and been along since pretty much the beginning, that just are you know, that they help you get your name out there. They help get that podcast out there. They want to help, you know, grow. They want to evangelize in a way of saying your show and your products or your, you know, what you support. And they'll go to our vendors that support us, and not SHOT Show, but at NRAs and stuff, and say, hey, we appreciate you supporting them. And so, you know, that's just invaluable when you have your vendors are hearing from, you know, you guys that are listening that, hey, you know, we appreciate you supporting God and Guns. We appreciate you supporting Firearms Radio Network. And those things mean a lot to them. They'll say, well, wow, these people are, you know, they're making connections, they're making relationships. And that's, you know, all selling, if you ever taken any selling courses, all selling is personal, it's a relationship. Whether or not they believe and trust in you that what you're saying is true, that you're going to follow up, or you're going to, you know, you're going to complete what you say you're going to do. It's all about what they believe. They believe that you're honest and true. They're going to, you know, they're going to support you. They're going to, you know, build that relationship with you. If all you're doing is throwing out, you know, information's cheap and it doesn't mean a lot. You know, everybody says theirs is the best. Everybody says theirs is the newest or whatever. But if you have someone that has a relationship with that product and explain that to you, it's just invaluable. So tell us about this, the other projects you're working on. I know Patriot Patch, and I know you got your hands in lots of different projects. You just got a really business mind, and I appreciate that about you. What else you got going on?
I have commit to too many things kind of mind, I think. I'm really trying to pare back on what I'm doing overall. Because I didn't just step away from FRN. I'm stepping away from a few other things we're doing, and really focusing on Patriot Patch Company, and then my Amazon business, and also do some. I have a business for just launching it, or just it's still really small, but we're dealing with like whole fasteners for the holster maker. So the holster hobbyist that's just making one or two holsters, like Chicago screws and belt clips and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I had several other things I had going on, and I'm really trying to, because you know, the kids, you know, our kids, we have 5 kids, and they're starting to get into Boy Scouts and American Heritage Girls and all kinds of these activities, church activities, and mm-hmm. I'm just realizing that, man, I just don't have any time anymore. So I need to focus more time on the family and where it really counts. So right. I'm doing trying to do, my goal is to do less than ever before.
I can tell you, and that's honorable. And most people are not sacrificing for their kids and not spending the time with the kids these days. They're chasing the dollar instead of that legacy that you'll leave when you invest in your children. But Doug's got 4 kids. I've got 4 kids, mm-hmm. and I've got 2 grandkids now. And Doug's got, how many grandkids you got? You got 1.
I got 2 and 2 on the way.
Oh yeah, you got 2. So so that, you know, it does take time. I mean, why I retired 3 years ago, I had no idea I was going to retire. God just, you know, made that happen. My goal was always to retire by 50 because I didn't want to be so old and decrepit I couldn't go do the things I always wanted to do. And so I just said, you know, I'm not going to keep chasing that dollar until I can't do anything anymore and just sit in a wheelchair. I'm going to get out while I can still enjoy it and then spend time with the kids. You know, my second oldest is 18 and Gunner's now 16 and Audrey's 11. So I don't have any years left with them here in the roost. You know, Daphne's gonna be heading off to college real soon. And so it's just a matter that I said, you know, I want to spend time with my kids. And if I, you know, once the kids are out of the nest and I'm bored, I've been in sales all my life. I can go right back into sales I can pick any place and sell. I mean, sales is sales. It doesn't matter the product. It's going to be something I believe in, you know, if I decide to go back, but, you know, I'm not really chasing the dollar. God's blessed. And so, and that is a great place when you realize that your children and the time that you have with them is more valuable than chasing after every dollar you can grab. And your children will see that, and that will be a great blessing for them as well.
Yeah, and I kind of got to the point here where I realize there's so many things I can do, but really the art of this is realizing, when to say no, not now, or I'm not going that direction, or because after doing the Firearms Radio Network and everything, that's and the other businesses I've done and do, it's really given me confidence that I can really do anything. But do I really want to do anything? Do I really, do I really want? Because even with like Patriot Patch Company or the hardware company, like, do I want a big factory where I got like 80 people working for me? And at this stage of life, I don't, because that's just not, I don't have the time for that. I really don't want to deal with that. So I'm really looking at it, what can I do? What can my wife and I do to support our family, to give the kids as much time as we can? Because we're homeschooling them too and stuff. And, what kind of, I guess, what can we do to get our best bang for our buck as far as what we do for a living and raising the family and everything. So it's kind of my mindset now, whereas before I was, trying to build something really big and, maybe chase a dollar a little too much.
I mean, when you're young, because you're 10 years, 15 years, you're probably 15, 20 years younger than us. It's when you're young, you got to go. Because the expenses are high. You don't have a lot of, your income isn't up there. As you get older, you start getting a better income because you've got seniority and you've got experience. So people pay you more. And so you are struggling. And when you got young families, you got mouths to feed, you got, diapers to buy and expenses. And so you got to start kicking into gear. I know Doug has worked long, hard hours. Most of my life, I've worked 2 jobs, if not 3, until, 3 years ago. And I'm semi-retired, but I still have pretty much 2 other jobs that take 20 to 30 hours a week that I consider just, it's not that much, but it still pays bills. It still does other things.
Well, and to guys like us, working less is like working 60 hours a week instead of 100 hours a week.
Right. Yeah. The first 3 months after Techno bought me out, I didn't know what to do with myself. I still had other things I was doing, but it's like I got so much time. It's like I spend a lot of time with the kids and stuff like that, but I'm like, I got to find something to do. Because I was used to being, up at 5, 6 in the morning and gone, then getting home till 6, 7 o'clock at night, and then quick time with the kids for 2 hours or something, off to bed, and then cycle repeats. And vacations were like rush, get there, okay, hurry up and have a good time, and then rush, get back, and then jump back to work. And after doing that for 35 years, you just like. You don't know what to do with yourself. But God had plans for me because he plugged me into all kinds of things with church. And then, of course, this it sort of just kept growing. And I believe it's a ministry. I believe God has put us here for a purpose. I don't know that, we're not perfect in any form or fashion. We screw up every week, and I screw up every day. But we try to live out our life before you guys in a way that you understand that we're transparent. We make mistakes. We fall. I'm not speaking from a high pulpit. I'm speaking from like right beside you. I'm tripping over the same things that you guys are tripping over. The walk is hard. The walk to be a Christian, especially in today's America, is hard. And to stand for righteousness and things is hard. But you just keep on keeping on. You just keep on trucking. You keep on staying plugged in the Word. You keep on straight in prayer. And but I'm getting way off the subject here with Jake. But so you got some other projects going on, and you're going to come back and let us know about those when you get them up and ready to put them out in the world. And then
yeah, sure will.
We got your link here for Patriot Patch Company. And now you don't just do patches. Most of our listeners probably know this, but you do T-shirts. You were just talking about earlier. What other kind of products you got?
Well, we have cleaning mats too.
Oh yeah, I love mine. AR-15 mat.
Yeah, and we have stickers. We have vinyl. We have looking to do a lot more T-shirts actually. But yeah, we have like for patches though. We have 80+ patch designs. So there's probably something up there that piques your interest.
Yeah. You did the patches for God and Guns, and so we've sold out of those. We're waiting on the next batch to come in. So those
those should be finishing up here pretty soon. Stickers too. So.
Yeah, got stickers coming too. So yeah, we're working on T-shirts. I went back and forth in design. I got some samples in from some other companies, and I just wasn't happy with how they turned out. So yeah, I've got to send over that our thoughts with you on those too. Let you guys get us a quote on those.
Cool.
So
we have. Do you have our pistol mat, Troy?
I've just got the AR-15 mat.
Oh, let me send you guys our pistol mat. We have the Luke 2236 pistol mat or mouse pad. You can use it for. I use these for mouse pads more than anything, actually.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I like it because whenever I'm breaking I've got it sitting over on my little workbench over there, and it's a perfect size. It covers up about 80% of the bench, and then I've got all my lube and all that stuff on the right side of it. I'm sitting there looking at it, and you lay out your AR-15, see where all the parts go if you get lost. It's great. I really like it. They work well.
Cool. Awesome.
These parts are getting lost. So any final thoughts for listeners about Farms Radio Network? Any people you want to
I appreciate
or throw under the bus? Or
appreciate yeah. Well, my throw under the bus list is quite long, so we'll skip that this week. No, I want to thank everyone for listening all these years. God and Guns listeners. Mike Emmert. Shout out to him for starting. He was a catalyst for starting this show.
We tried to get Mike on. He just wasn't able to make it on tonight.
Yeah, excuses, Mike.
He gave leave, I guess.
No, Mike's a good dude, and he's on to doing other things now. But he, I remember we were talking not too long ago about the show, and he's like, "Man, that was so much fun doing God and Guns all those years." And he's like, he had a blast doing it, Yeah. And I did too all the time at FRN. But as you know, there's different stages of life, and Mike's moved on, and now I'm moving on. So, but there's always new people coming into the fold at FRN. There's always new shows and new listeners, and it's a great community. So appreciate all you guys do here at God and Guns. It's really a great service for the Christian gun owner. I mean, there's nothing else really like it.
No, not yet. There's some out there that they're claiming to be, but I haven't. I've been seeing some people have been sending me links of them. So there's a big enough market out there. It's okay. All right. So we appreciate you coming on. And do you need a scooter? You go hang out with us to the end?
Yeah, I should probably scoot, but yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
All right, Jake, we appreciate you coming on, and thanks for all you did and invest in me and invest in God and Guns. I know that, you've put a lot of money into this show and a lot of money into promoting it, and just the time that you've given. And so for our listeners want to support you guys, support you specifically, go to Patriot Patch Company, pick out patches or shirts or the monthly plan. What's that monthly plan? How's that work?
So the Patch of the Month Club, yeah, you get one exclusive patch sent to your house every month. So you get hold that one up you got, Troy.
So I've got about 4 or 5 of them right here. So I don't know stuff off the floor. I got too much stuff out. Got this one.
So yeah, you get the patch and a matching sticker, and you can only get those designs through the Patch of the Month Club.
Push up daisies.
So, yeah.
I got them all over the place. Oh, here's some stickers, little stickers. Yeah.
Yeah, check it out, Patch of the Month Club. Yeah, you sign up, subscribe. It's an automatic, renewal and everything. And so far, we have great feedback from it. People are loving the designs, and I was just at a bullpup shoot here last weekend, and had people coming up, saying how they look forward to their shipment every month. So that's pretty cool to hear.
My kids fight over getting to open it up every week, every month when it comes in. They'll like, well, can I go get the mail? And come back, and they'll be like, I want to open it. I want to open it. Like, I want this one. I want this one. I'm like, we have to get you all club membership on that. Over the patches. Like, you got the last one. I'm like, okay. All right.
That's awesome.
Thanks a lot, Jake. Appreciate you coming.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Thanks, Jake.
All right, so we want to thank our Patreon supporters. If you would like to help out our show, you can go to patreon.com/guideguns, and we have several great patrons out there. Tim Kim, we're still praying for Tim. I haven't heard back from him since his last email. He had been pretty sick. He'd had some illness, and so you guys pray for Tim. Doug Schultz, our buddy Doug, and Ted Third, Steve Stone, and Shannon Copeland at the top 3 contributors. And so that's part of the, if you're in the top 3, we mention you on the show. That's why we mention it each week. Use these following links. You can support our show. You can join the NRA or renew your NRA subscription. I've got links here in the show notes. If you do, they will send us a little bit of love, depending on whatever you do. The more, bigger membership or whatever, the more money they'll send us. DVOR, DVOR, as a clearinghouse for Optics Planet. It's great. It's awesome. It's addictive, and it, could probably cost a marriage if you don't control it. But it is the best prices on several things out there. I usually end up buying shirts and pants and just odd end things that I've been looking for and just wouldn't buy it full retail, and it'll pop up on there. I'm like, okay, now I'm going to get it because it's 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% off. It's amazing from the prices that they have on stuff. Use our link if you want to help send us some love. It's our show notes on our website. And if you purchase something, they'll send us a little bit of love. Laser Activated Shot Reporter. It is a dry fire training practice where you use a CERT type pistol, as I showed earlier. Here's my little CERT pistol, and it's a laser in it, and you use a webcam, and you can shoot at targets, and you pick out any kind of target you want to, and you can set it up to do speed drills. You can set up to, from the time you pull the holster to the first shot, shot time, between shots, the timing between shots. All that stuff is on there. Go to lasrapp.com. You can find out how that works. And if you use the coupon code GANDG, you get a 10% discount. Hoplite Armor. If you're looking for body armor, go to Hoplite Armor using our link, and we are affiliate, and they have the best armor that I've seen. I'm not an aficionado of body armor by no means, but I love the way, I love their products. I love the man behind their products. He just has a passion for the lost. He's a believer. He's a great guy. He lives up in Montana, and Hoplite Armor has like everything you'd ever need for body armor. Check him out using our Hoplite Armor link. Zeja's product I take for my health, for it gets anti-inflammatory. If you want to know more about it, I'm not going to go on about it here. Just go to guidingguns.myzeja.com. You can see my testimony. You can sign up to sell it. You can sign up to buy it. You can buy it there online. If you have any questions, there's contact information for me in there, and you can contact me and ask me specific questions. That's all I'm going to say with that. You get the last two, Doug.
Crossbreed Holsters that we talked earlier. If you're carrying a gun on your person, or you're in a truck, or keep one by your bed, Go check out Crossbreed Holsters. They have a holster for you. The most comfortable holster in the world by far. Troy and I both carry the Super Tuck Deluxe, and we've been carrying them for a long time. They're just comfortable. If you're not happy and comfortable with a holster, you're not going to carry your gun. So you're going to be unprotected. Go check these guys out. They got anything that you want. Crossbreedholsters.com. Carry the cross. And last but not least, Axelson Tactical. Go out and check out our buddy Jeff over at Axelson Tactical. He has precision rifles. It's got a nice pistol. It's actually a Glock 19 that's custom work done on it.
Beautiful guns.
Beautiful guns. Beautiful guns. They have some of the prettiest workmanship out there, and these guns they don't just look good, they shoot good. They are tack drivers. They also make knives and all different sorts of things. Go check them out, give them a look. If you're looking for a high performance rifle, check them out, axelsontactical.com. Use our promo code God and Guns and get 10% off on Troy and I.
Cool deal. It's not really one of our sponsors, but we're an affiliate with Interius Alliance. If you've ever heard of Interius Alliance, Ron Bellin with Reaper Outdoors is one of the board members there. Snake River Ammunition. There's just a lot of different companies over there. Check those guys out. I'll put a link in the show notes when we get done. But we are one of the life members of their group. And I just want to make sure you guys know that. I need to, probably broadcast that better on here. I apologize for that. But we're one of their media representatives for their company. Mm-hmm. And so if you go over to Interius Alliance, you will find just Google it. You'll find their website. If you're on Facebook, you can find us as it on their Facebook site. There's a multitude of military-owned or veteran-owned or Patriot-owned companies that support our veterans, support our military, support our country's nation is founded, and just a multitude of great products over there. Too many to talk about right now. NRA Armed Citizen, Doug, what you got going on?
Man, NRA Armed Citizen Night. Armed Taco Bell worker shoot, kill robbery suspect. This is by Samuel Chamberlain at Fox News, published September the 6th. This comes out of Cleveland. Cleveland police responded to Taco Bell after a would-be robber was shot and killed by employees. This comes to us from Fox 8. Armed employees at Cleveland Taco Bell shot and killed a would-be robber early Wednesday, police said. Police responded to the store in the city's Edgewater neighborhood shortly before 3 a.m. and found the suspect suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. The unidentified man was taken to the local hospital and was pronounced dead. A second suspect fled the scene. Investigators say 5 Taco Bell employees were in the store when the suspects came in wearing masks and ordered them to get on the ground. 3 of the employees opened fire, striking the suspects.
3 of them.
3 of them are carrying guns in the Taco Bell.
Go team moment, as Paul would say.
It's a go team moment. That's right. So 3 employees opened fire, striking the suspect. Police said no arrests have been made. In the statement, Taco Bell said that the company was offering counseling to the restaurant workers and was cooperating with the investigation. I don't think the restaurant guys needed a whole lot of counseling, personally.
Maybe the 2 that weren't carrying, maybe they should have.
Yeah.
They need counseling. They're probably saying, where were your guns at? That's what they should be saying. Probably weren't saying that, though.
If more places were carrying guns like that, people came in to try to rob them stuff and got popped, I think a few more people would think twice before they did something stupid like that.
Yeah, it was more like a casino where if you walked in there, they opened up small submachine guns on you. People wouldn't try to rob you.
Dude, we had two individuals they must have been from a think tank somewhere, decided to rob a gun store in Georgia a few months ago. And they got in just long enough to get the guy that was working the front part of the counter to go back, and the store owner sees him. He just pulls a 1911, bam, bam. He shoots the first guy, and he drops like a sack of potatoes, and the other guy's hauling butt out the door trying to get out of there. You know, I mean, what kind of moron wants to rob a gun store when people are in there during the day carrying guns? You know, it don't make good sense.
Well, they probably believe that they're like most gun owners, and they don't know how to actually shoot, and they thought they just get the drop on them.
Yeah, they thought wrong.
Being a gun owner doesn't make you a good shooter, by the way. You know,
it does not.
Being a gun owner makes you owner of a gun. It doesn't mean you could actually hit something. And just because you can line the sights up and click it doesn't mean you need to go out the range and shoot that puppy and get training.
Man,
all right, so we're gonna wrap this thing up. Anything else?
Man, I talked to a guy the other day. We were talking, and one of the things that we always talk about on the show is people who don't carry with a round in the chamber, and he didn't. And I'm like, man, I said, what are you doing? I said, there's no way you can pull that gun fast enough to take somebody out that's got a gun pointed at you already, or trying to pull their own gun out. I said, you're just, you know, why carry if you're just going to let somebody get the drop on you? You're
just going to give a gun away.
Yeah. And I don't understand it. I'm like, man,
it's a lack of training. It's just, that's all it is. It's a fear that something is going to go off, which mechanically, unless you got a Saturday night special made in India or something, it's not likely to happen.
No.
All right.
If you're going to carry one in it.
Carry one in it. Well, get training.
Yep.
And get, practiced and carry live with a round in the chamber. And if it's a 1911, hammer back, safety on,
Hammer back. Yeah, that's it, man.
You don't need no good otherwise with a single fire. All right. So we're going to wrap it up. Send your feedback to Troy at GodandGunsPodcast.com or
Doug at GodandGunsPodcast.com.
Please tell your friends about us. Leave us an iTunes review and like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/GodandGunsPodcast. Subscribe and follow us on YouTube. There's a link there that's too long for me to even start on, so you can just click on it. You can follow us on Twitter at GodandGunsPod, and you can search for us on Instagram and search for us on MeWe if you like trading guns. Website is GodandGunsPodcast.com. And until next time, Doug, have a blessed week.
And keep your guns close, but keep your Bible closer.
Night, guys.
Good night.